non-video.
Hi.
Hi! Oh my God! I cannot believe I get to meet the Gurinder Chadha. So excited! I loved your movie so much. We watched it like 50 times, and my daughter is also an athlete. So it was like we played it every year, every holiday.
Really?
Yeah,
She's an athlete?
yeah, all my kids are athletes, especially my daughters. So it was always a whole, oh, should I go for this game? Are we gonna miss this wedding? Everything you showed in that movie, um, we lived through.
With
How was it making the movie? Like, what brought you to the script? What brought you to this story? Like, tell us a little bit about it.
So I really love It's a Wonderful Life, Frank Capra, my favorite movie. And I've made my children watch it since they were little. And they're like, Mom, it's black and white. Mom, we don't want to watch this. And I'm like, "Chup, kake back, Jote."
I love
Will
it.
teach you everything you need to know, right, about life. And so they sit there like this, watch it. And then, of course, I start crying. Then they watch me crying, watching the movie. So over the years, they now know, oh, okay, Mum, it's time to watch the movie. Oh, okay. So that movie makes me cry, laugh, smile, and just makes me feel good about humanity. And a few years ago, I said, I want to make a movie like that. I want a movie that makes me feel like that. And growing up in England, Christmas was a big deal for us, right? And with my dad, we used to write letters to Santa.
Oh yeah,
We used to say,
yeah.
oh, we want the doll, Tiny Tears, that cries and does wee wee. But we also, you know, we do the dinners, we do everything. Dad used to put the whiskey out for Santa and the carrot,
Yeah.
his precious Chivas Regal, he used to put it. And then in the morning, we'd come down and the glass of whiskey was like this. And he'd go, oh my God, Santa drank all the whiskey. He must be drunk. And we'd be going, oh my God, Santa drank all the whiskey. So, like, we bought it hook, line, and sinker. And then we ended up in England, it's like a real family celebration. It's kind of like Thanksgiving. It's sort of,
Yeah.
yeah, everyone comes together. The only difference, we put Rajda masala on all of it.
Of course.
The turkey comes out bright red. The
Yeah.
stuffing has green chilies in it. The alus have lal mircha, garlic, everything. Like, we don't have a bland Christmas dinner. We have the full works. But then we also sit and watch the Queen,
Yeah.
at 3 o'clock. And my mum would say, meri umar di hai. Mammy young lagdi hai. They were going, all this stuff. The Queen. So those traditions hit hard, I think, if you grow up in Britain. And so we have a relative who sadly had come from Uganda as a young child, as a refugee, and he used to come sometimes for Christmas. And he used to say, why you trying to be white? Why are you doing
Yeah.
this? And we'd say, no, this is what we do. This is Christmas. But he was kind of the Grinch. So I liked that character, the Indian who kind of didn't quite get it and didn't have the joy. So that sort of inspired me. But also, if I do something, I have to make it meaningful on many layers. For me,
Hmm.
that's how it is, right? So for me, I wanted to make sure that I was telling a story that was Christmassy and hopeful, but also meaningful for us. For me, when I make a film or when I approach making a film, like, for me, it's got to operate on many different levels. And I thought, for us, this is a great opportunity to tell a story that I've been wanting to tell for a long time. And since in my story with Scrooge, I had the idea, after I'd been to Charles Dickens' house, by the way, when I said I wanted to do a Christmas Carol, I went to Charles Dickens' house, which is
Wow.
a mile from my house.
Oh,
And
okay.
yeah, in Clerkenwell. And I walked around his house. I sat in his sitting room. I went to the bedroom, went to the kitchen. And I basically said, Charles Dickens, or Charles, as our family would say, if you were me today, what would you do? What would be your version what would be your version of a Christmas Carol? And then the idea hit me, and I got my Scrooge to be, first of all, sounding very Republican, very Tory, like some of our politicians in England. Priti Patel, of course, who I go as for Halloween. Um, um, but then you realize when the ghost of Christmas past comes to take him back to his childhood, we find ourselves in Uganda, 1972, and he's about to be made a refugee with everyone who got expelled. And he comes to Britain. And in Britain, his father dies in the refugee camp, which is based on a true story. Um, and he's very bitter. And then someone says to him, money will protect you from racism. Money will protect you from everything. It will give you status. It'll give you everything. So he starts worshiping money. So for me, that was a fantastic way to update Scrooge. And so when we meet our Scrooge, who's called Sood, he is, older, not wiser, but has cut himself off from his past, from joy in the pursuit of money. And we all know people like that, because for a lot of people.
Right here.
Yeah, but you're funnier than him. He's a real Grinch. I think a lot of people who come from one country to another, that generation, their way of handling racism is money.
Money,
right?
yeah, of course, 100%.
And
you insulate yourself from as much as you can. You buy your protection.
But also you sometimes end up missing out on the joy of life, You're carrying all that pain with you, and you think money is the answer. And of course, we know it isn't, and you can't take it with you. So then he goes on a beautiful journey where he has to understand the meaning of life and the real meaning of life. And I think that for me, I was making a very British film about, updated Dickens. But when I showed the film in Cannes, the Indian distributor who's going to be releasing the film in India, they came out in tears. They said, "Oh my God, what an Indian film! What an Indian film!"
Oh, yeah.
I said, yeah, no, it's Dickens, it's British, it's all set in London. And they said, no, because it's how, in India, I guess, for people, it's how you balance knowing you have everything and people right next to you on the footpath don't. And so for Indians, I think that's also, that poverty is right there. But it's also for us, I mean, if you know the novel, then his manager, Bob Cratchit, is very poor, and they have a kid who is sick, and they can't afford the private healthcare to get this kid well. So as soon as that story kicks in, suddenly it's not about him and refugees. It's about, sick children and the state of the world today. That how can we measure the value of a child versus rich CEOs? How do we do that? And that's where it all sort of starts coming together as a Christmas film, because Christmas is, of course, about charity and kindness and looking after each other. But then, hey, the Christians don't have the monopoly on that, right?
Some would say not even the best track record, but we won't get there.
Exactly. But all religions espouse that, kindness and looking after people less fortunate. In my case, being a Sikh, I've grown up with it. I used to take all my friends to the Gurdwara in Southville. I said, we put one penny down and we can all eat. Let's go. I was like really on the make, even at age 5. And take all my Gora friends to have dal and roti, but for one penny. But over the years, as I've got older, I realized the value of that upbringing more and more. And, for me, like I see, I've been doing this since Baji on the Beach now. That was 1993, right?
Wow.
And why do I keep doing it? Why it gets harder and harder to make movies with people that look like us in it, It's harder and harder. And despite all my success, it is always hard to get a movie off the ground for me still. Um, and I ask myself, why do I keep doing it? Why do I keep pushing? I could easily do Hollywood movies, but
Yeah.
then they're not about us, you know.
Mm.
I've been offered many movies, and I've actually been assigned to quite a few movies, but didn't make it for whatever reason. But I just come back to the fact that I'm a Sikh and I'm a warrior. I'm from a
Yeah.
warrior house. And that's what we do. We go out and we fight for what we believe in and we fight for what we think is right. And I just, if I see a girl somehow, being disempowered, if I see kids of different colors being disempowered, if I see any of that, I just find my way to stamp out prejudice and really emphasize how much we all have in common than we don't. And I think that comes from Guru Nanak Dev Ji. That's Ek Onkar. We're all one, we're all connected. And interestingly, I've seen Diljit Dosanjh talk about this a lot with the racism he's experienced around the world. Even today, he was talking about racism in Australia that he's experiencing. And he brings it back to, Ek Onkar, and they will have to catch up with us.
Us, yeah.
And in the end, what is Christmas? It's about giving. And what is giving? It's seva, dan. So we invented it. Hey! So really, this film is really about seva and being one, but also a lovely Christmas balm on how crazy the world is right now.
You know, I don't know much. I don't know the details of your movie, right? But I think how many white people Christmas movies we've seen.
Yes.
We've seen them all. We've
Yeah.
seen my whole life. I think the world is eager to see your version of this emotion. There's none. How many can you even think of that are out there? Everything that you described is uniting us in this new, beautiful way. And I think it's kind of why my comedy resonates. Mother in law jokes are not new,
No,
but no one has seen this person do it,
no.
which is why it's hitting. And everybody is coming in to be like, well, what does she have to say about that wicked witch?
Yes. It's a fresh perspective
Fresh.
on what
It's
we've already seen. We've
You've
all seen
epitomized same but different.
same but different.
They're all looking for same but different. But see, emotions are there. It's the same feeling, but it's this whole new outfit you're putting on it, and the whole, literally and metaphorically.
But also what you're doing, which is really what I do, right? And which what I think true diversity is we're telling stories from our perspective, our
Yeah.
hearts, our minds. That's not to say that we're fully Indian. We're this, we're that, we're
Yeah.
everything, right? I'm as British as I am Indian. I've spent a lot of time in the States. My husband's American. Like, we understand how they think, okay? We've seen a lot of stuff from the way they think. What we can do if we're truly clever is tell our stories without compromising our stories too much, because they know what's familiar and they like what's different. That's the difference. Like your whole thing about your son going out with a Jewish girl, it's fantastic, because the stereotype is you think every Indian mother's going to go, no, 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 right? And of course she is, but you're clever. You're going, I'm going to wait. Let his mother reject. Let her be the bad guy.
Yeah.
Which is great because everyone gets that. Because
Yeah.
that's universal, right?
Yeah.
Because it's playing into what they know about Indians, but it's subverting what they know. And that's how we have to tell our stories and be clever.
Yeah, and we will, and we are. And I personally feel like there's a huge market for us. Hollywood doesn't understand because they're run by the 10 people who don't leave Beverly Hills. If they make it to Hollywood Hills, they feel like they traveled. So like forget them, but I'm a product of social media world, right? Like my career basically took off because of this digital world. When they're like, we're not gonna pick it up, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make it for TikTok. Bye. There are other ways to get these stories out now. We are
Yes,
not
that's good.
beholden to this
Yeah.
insanity. Because I know what you're saying. I mean, me personally, I walked away from the movie business after making one movie. I was like, I cannot play this game. I can whatever this is, because you've mastered it. All these young people are lost. They don't know what they're doing.
They should come to me. I'll
They
help
should.
them.
You will drown. You will drown. You will die. The amount of people who don't know what they're doing, and they're so sweet. Their intentions are so good, but it's like you got to know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, and I can see it. Even though I'm not in the business, I'm a 50-year-old woman. I can see what's happening.
I'll tell you something very sweet, okay? I was struggling to get my film financed,
Yeah.
okay? I'd managed to get 80% of the finance. A large chunk of it came from an Indian studio, Civic Studios, run by a wonderful woman called Anushka, who is based in India and London, right? And so Civic came in. My UK distributor came in, same guy Ziggy who distributed Bend Like Beckham. So he was already in, had some tax credit, but the last 2 million I was struggling, and I was devastated because I couldn't get it together in time for Christmas. And
Oh.
all the Christmas lights were out all over London, and the trees and everything. And I was like, God, I'll never be able to replicate this. I'm so upset. And I had agreed to do a charity reading, a poem at this church in Piccadilly, St. James's Piccadilly, for a charity called Anti-Slavery Society, which is the oldest charity in the world. And Sunil Sheth, who is my retired family lawyer, he does the charity work. He said, please come, Gurinder, read a poem. Blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay. And as I walked down Regent Street, all the Christmas lights were laughing at me, saying, hey, Gandhi buddy, ha 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 ha. And I was just really depressed. Um, and I got into the church, and they had an equally depressing little raffle. There was very little prizes. So I got up, I read my poem, and I said, I'm going to add a prize to the raffle, a walk-on part in my next film. Everyone cheered and clapped. They sold a lot of tickets. Then after Sunil came up to me with this lady who was from another charity called Migrants International, Madhavi, and they came up and they said, that's so kind of you to do this. And I said, well, it's fine. And they said, well, what's your film about? And I explained. And they said, oh, it's a migrant story. It's a refugee story at heart. I said, yeah. They went, wow, that's so cool. And they said, well, why aren't you making it? And I went, well, I'm missing about £2 million,
Yeah.
It's been tough. And they went, oh, we're sorry to hear that, but, we look forward to it. And they walked off. Next day, I'm still sitting there depressed. My phone goes, Sunil calls. He said, Gurinder, we didn't like to see you upset. You've given us so much pleasure with all
Oh.
your films. We had a whip round, all of us. We've got your money. We've got your 2 million. Go and make your film.
Oh.
What a
Yay.
Christmas story. That's all Asians who've done well in Britain and abroad.
Yeah.
And they all said, we're all going to put in 200. And I couldn't believe it, except about an hour later, I called the helicopter company, booked a helicopter, I shot all the lights, everything, London from the end, filmed everything. And I thought, if it happens, great. If it doesn't happen, I'll sell it as library footage. But this is momentum. I'm going with it. And sure enough, they were all true to their words. And a couple of months later, I shot the movie, and I had all the great Christmas footage, which you'll see in the film. But I tell you that story to give hope and to say, really, I think it's time our community came and stood behind us.
Yeah.
There's a lot
100%.
of people who've done very well,
Yeah.
and I'm not business minded. I'm more, creative. But what I do to empower their kids, money can't buy them that. And I feel that what we really need now is some people in our community to think about legacy, think about the future,
Yeah.
help artists, kind of go forward and create this work, because we've seen it's hard for us and it's of great value, you know. But unless we get support, I can't see the situation changing, I have to say.
Do you notice a change in the audience? Like, are you starting to see more support? I mean, the money that you got already is proof of it. But are
Yeah,
you starting to see more and more? Like, I feel like people come out to my shows, even Indian people, which was not always the case. But
yeah,
I'm starting to see more Indians call their relatives and say, you should go to the show. It's
yes.
really funny. Like,
Yeah,
for a long time, it was all non-Indians.
yes. I think lucky for me, I've always had an Indian audience. Partly because when I go to India to promote movies, I insist on speaking Hindi. It
Yeah.
turns out I'm actually speaking Punjabi, but I think it's Hindi.
It's close enough, though. It's close. I understand everything you say, of course.
I remember when we released Bend It Like Beckham in India, the only date that we could make work was the same day as Shah Rukh Khan's Devdas.
Oh,
And
yeah.
all the press were like, are you mad? Are
Yeah.
you really crazy that you're putting this small little film out on the same day as Mighty Shah Rukh, you know? And I was like, why are they saying all this to me? Like, okay, it's a good film, but it's a week, you know, I was thinking this. So then I just said, name, मैं मानती हूँ शाहरुख खान बहुत बड़ा आदमी है हम बहुत छोटे हैं मगर आप प्लीज उनकी फिल्म देखना फ्राइडे को भी और सैटरडे को भी प्लीज जरूर जाना संडे को हमारी पिक्चर आके देखना you know. So I kind of did it like that. And actually, that was in the end very charming because what they were used to was people from the West
Yeah.
going to India and lording it over
Yeah,
there,
talking down to them. Exactly.
talking down to them. And I never do that anyway with anyone. And I certainly wouldn't do that in India, you know.
Yeah.
And so I think that they even Prime Minister Modi is like, you know, always kind of wants me at the film conferences in India
Yeah.
because, like, I have been, you know, for India, I'm seen as an international
Yeah.
Indian, you know. For Britain, I'm seen as a British filmmaker. Like, it's sort of, it's great to be able to, you know, have that because that's what our identity is, right? We're a bit of everything.
But your love for India shines through in everything you touch. It's like your fingerprint. It's in everything that you touch. Like, and people in India can feel that. I think I know what you're talking about because I see some of it too. They're
Yeah.
so used to it's actually cringe. It's actually obnoxious when people from the West go to India and
Mm.
start talking about like fix the sidewalk. Then shut up. You're so embarrassing. You're embarrassing the rest of us who
Yes.
understand that life is different there.
Yes. You know, my parents, I think I get it all from my parents, you see. So my parents were, you know, we were originally from pre-partition India, Jhelum,
Mm.
Rawalpindi. My grandfather had gone to India at the turn of the century, Kenya at the turn of the century. So my father was born in Kenya, raised in Kenya. My parents lived in East Africa before coming to Britain. I was actually born in Nairobi, but I don't remember it as a baby because I was raised in Britain from the age of 2. So I have that family background which understands migration and
Yeah.
having money, not having money, all that. And the one word that I love in Punjabi that comes from my parents is hamdardi, hamdardi, you know. And that was something so wonderful that my parents. So if when my film was doing really well, people would go, "Oh, thodi beti ne chika maria," all this sort of stuff. They'd be like that. My mum would say, "Nay, nay, sab Baba Ji di mera," all this, all playing, putting me down, and like,
Yeah.
you know. And I get it, you know. They didn't want me to stand above the, you know, parapet because at the end of the day, we must have empathy for everybody.
Yeah.
We must, and I have that intrinsically, you know. Um,
It's just bursting out of you, Gurinder. It's you
oh,
don't even
bless
have
you.
to say it.
But
It's
without it, what is
exploding.
it? Why have Juti Shan? What's the purpose of that?
I mean, listen, I've learned that the people who should have imposter syndrome don't have it. The rest of us are sitting there worried, like, I don't know, should I say it? Is it too much? Yeah. The people who should have it are out there running the world, just like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. Like, you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. But interestingly, as in Christmas Karma, Billy Porter and Kunal Sood are arguing, and Billy Porter is saying, you have to rise up. You have to get over the past, get over the hardships and the racism because it's only affecting you. And he goes,
Yeah.
no, why should I do the forgiving? Why should I change? You know? And that's a big question because ultimately you're the one that's unhappy. You're unhappy, you know? So if you, what the message of the film is, and the same with Charles Dickens, it's the same message that he did 150 years ago, I'm doing today. The true meaning of being a human being and being alive is to give. When you give to others, be it through your comedy, your art, pleasure, charity, kindness, whatever it is, when you give, that's what makes you feel human and that's what makes you feel good. And that's it. Simple as that. You can live in your big houses and drive your big cars, but ultimately, are you really living? Are you really satisfied? Are you really happy? It's only when you start giving and seeing the pleasure, that you in other people from your gift giving that you really understand what being human is. And I'm so lucky. I've been in so many situations, some weird ones, I have to say. This doctor came to me and she said, you have to know one thing. She said, when I was giving birth to my daughter, I was allowed to take a DVD in and I wanted to take Bend It Like Beckham in. I gave birth watching your movie. I'm like, TMI.
Yeah.
She was like, I wanted her to come into the world knowing the joy and all this. I mean, that's one extreme. But generally, when I meet, I mean, it's hard for me to go to an Indian wedding because it becomes selfie city,
Yeah, of course.
But some people, they come up to me and they start crying
Yeah.
because of the pleasure that they've had from the film and that the fact that I'm approachable,
Yeah.
He's so nervous coming up to me. And often I'll see people smiling at me and waving at me and like not sure what to do. And I go, give me your phone. Then I'll take the selfie and they're all like, oh my God, what just happened kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that gives me pleasure, If anyone ever sees me, stop me. I'm so approachable.
Don't say that here. You will get stopped. The floodgates will open.
Well, I think
But I get it. I know
What
you
did
and I
you
are the
say to people
same.
when they want a selfie from you? What do you say?
The absent selfie, video, note, video call. My mom's a fan, my sister, whatever. Are you kidding? If something that simple can make somebody happy, what am I not going to do that? I'm a mom on top of everything else. We're both mothers.
Exactly.
What are we teaching our kids?
I was at the premiere of Black Panther a few years ago, and in London, and all the cast, everyone was there, and it was great. And the director was really tired. You could see he'd been doing the press thing, and he was standing to the side, and no one was butching him. So I went up to him. I said, "You did a really good job. Really, I just want to congratulate you and a great storytelling. Great how you brought everything in." He said, "Oh, thank you, thank you." And he said, "What do you do?" I said, "Oh, I'm a director." And he said, "Oh, okay. Anything I would have seen?" And I said, "Oh, I made Bend It Like Beckham." He went, "No way!"
Yeah.
Goes, "What? That is
Yeah.
insane. Hold on a minute." He got his phone out. He phoned his mom and his sister. He went, "Guess who I'm with, Mom?" It was so cute. And the mom went crazy. And then he made me take a selfie with his mom on
Mom, yeah.
that was the selfie. So I was like, wow, what a gift. That was so amazing. So yeah, I think that having fame and celebrity, as an Indian woman is great so long as you remember like where it comes from. And if I'm honest, I think why do I keep going and pushing and striving is because I know how much pleasure I bring my own community as well as others, you know.
I'm
And
100%.
that actually is super a great source of inspiration for me
And there's still so few people doing it. There's still,
because it's
I mean,
hard.
it's
It's hard.
very hard. I get it. And not every, listen, even if it was easy, not everybody has the talent. Gurinder, there's no other. There's one of one. That's just what also it is. Let's say every studio greenlit a project. It is not everybody's purview to create something so masterful.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's a very difficult thing to pull off. So what you've done, and I have my similar experience in the same. I'm resonating so much with what you're saying.
Oh,
I go
thank
to
you.
weddings. I used to do wedding events. All these elderly people line up to take selfies, and then there are tears in their eyes. They're 50 years. We laughed at jokes we don't understand. 50 years. They're like, we've been watching shows, listening to music. We don't understand any of it. They don't relate to friends. They don't
No.
relate to breaking up, making up, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then they suddenly see me and it's like, go to medical school. They're like, yes, yes.
You're so right.
You
It's when you
know,
see people, that's why the visual image is so important. When you see people doing this,
yeah.
it inspires others.
It's so inspiring. And in some ways you and I are very similar, in other ways we're polar opposites. You're truly an artist, not a businesswoman, as you say, although I see a businesswoman. I'm a businesswoman. I didn't want to be an artist. Everything I do is like, where's the math? Does it make sense? But even I'm drawn into the purpose. I'm like, how has it been that our people have not had this?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I
I
didn't
know.
start out wanting to do any of that. I was trying to run a business. Nothing
Right.
worked until I started doing this. And now I'm the voice of Indian what? But I see it now that it's so crazy that no one else is doing this. And that
Yeah.
no one else has been able to push that door even like a little bit. You gotta like crank it a little bit at a time. The whole thing
Yeah.
doesn't just open. You gotta like, you've been
Right.
pushing for how many years now?
30 years. But I have an idea.
Yeah.
If we ever made a movie about me,
Yeah.
and like, why don't you play me?
Done. Done. If you want me, I'm in. I will never force myself on anybody. And I told my previous director, I'm like, I'm done. You ruined me for others because he was so good. But but if you wanted me, I would be available to you. I never push myself on anybody because I don't need to. But I would be, let's make that story. Let's make that story. It should be like Martha, the documentary.
Oh yeah,
It's
hilarious.
so good. We
Oh, I've
should
not
make
seen it. I've not
Yo,
seen it.
it
Let's do
we
that
see.
then.
You should see it. We should make your version of it, the entire trajectory from beginning to end, because you will inspire,
Yeah.
so many people. But if you made a movie, whatever, listen, you want me for anything. You want me to be a tree in the background, I'll do it out of respect for all the love and joy that you brought me,
Oh, bless you.
especially my daughter, who truly is, she was a captain of 3 sports teams in school.
Wow, that's
So
amazing.
this is a particular movie that resonated in our family. And not to mention all the other things you did, the Pride and Prejudice, and the Bhaji on the Beach, and the song movie, the music movie that you did 2 years ago. I forget the name of it.
Blinded by the Light, the Bruce
Yes,
Springsteen. Yeah, yeah.
yes.
Well, I tell you what, the great news is that I have gone back and looked at the characters of Bend It Like Beckham. I am exploring where they might all be now. I am looking at storylines. They're big shoes to fill. If I get it wrong, everyone who loves the film is going to come after me and go, "What the hell?" So, I have to be very careful with what I do because the reason I didn't do a sequel or anything was because I just felt I couldn't do anything better, with that story. It was so perfect in the way that it was. Also, to be honest with you, my father had just died
Oh,
from an accident. And when I made that film, I was totally grieving for my dad. I didn't know it at the time. When I watch it now, I can see
yeah.
it's like, oh my God, it's so emotional with the
Yeah.
dad, right?
Yes.
It's so emotional. And I realize now it's because it was a great tribute to my dad who let me go off, and he said, "तू सारे अनु जो मर्जी तू कर सारे बोलेंगे तू कर जो मर्जी करना है. Do what you want, be happy." So that's my dad from Bendit. But so it was hard for me to move on from that, really. But now I'm certainly exploring it. I feel we are living in times where we need that kind of world depicted on screen
Yeah.
for all of
Well,
us.
have you considered just rebooting Bendit the way Tina Fey did Mean Girls? You know how the Mean Girls reboot was so popular too, and she did it so well.
Yeah,
Something like that, but it's not a sequel, it's just
a
a
reboot.
modernization of it.
I don't know if I mean, would anybody accept a different Jess Bumrah, a different Keira Knightley? Like, it's a tough thing. I'm not sure. I'd be interested to see what, people think. But I'm working on something new right now. So,
Okay.
yeah, and I have a few ideas that I think are good. So, but it takes time, but we're certainly there. So I've got your number. I'll, you know.
Text me, DM me, and please come to a live show. I would love to
I
have
want to
you.
bring you to London.
I
You
come to London all the time. I've done 10 shows in London.
la. That's a memory
Yeah.
fire.
I'm gonna get your number because every time I have a 2-day weekend off,
Yeah.
I throw a show up in London because we sell out. Like we announce it, we sell out.
When are you coming to London next?
I'm gonna figure it out. Not until Jan 1 because I'm completely swamped in the US. But in January, I will do a bunch of shows in London because I have my new hour that I'm touring with.
Perfect. Well, then we're
Yeah.
going to get you. We'll get you some bigger theaters. That's what you
Yeah.
need now. If you're selling out the small ones, let's get you bigger.
Yeah.
And I'll come and introduce you. And
Oh my God, it would be such a treat for everybody and me. I would love to meet you.
we'll make it a really great thing. It's wonderful to celebrate you. I'm so happy. I wish my mother could have seen you. That would have been amazing for her to see you doing what you're doing. And yeah,
Are
amazing.
you in the US for a while or are you leaving soon?
No, I'm leaving tonight. Back
Oh
home.
wow. I'm
Yes.
so glad we got this in. I'm so
Definitely,
glad.
definitely. But once you've seen the film,
Yeah.
then please let's do something funny because when you see the film, you'll see,
When is it coming out? What's the
November
release date?
14th,
February 14th.
November.
November 4th. Sorry.
Yeah,
February.
November, and we'll get you a link to the film.
Yeah.
Come and
Oh yeah.
film, or I'm sure there's screenings going to be happening in New York, and bring your family and
Wait, so is this film releasing in theaters in India too?
yes. So it's releasing in theaters in India in December,
Yes.
Australia, New Zealand now in November, UK November 14th, US. What he's doing is interesting here. He's doing, they're releasing first with the Asian crowd, and then they're building to the Latino crowd with Eva, and then the African American with Billy Porter, and then going wide in December with everybody.
Oh wow.
And that, you have to be clever like that these days.
Yeah.
Because the cinema going world is like messed up.
Yeah.
If you're not on Netflix or Amazon, it's very tough. So I like that strategy. So, let's see. Yeah, I like that strategy. It's good.
So do you think you guys can just do a clean cut of that?
Yeah.
Releases November 14th. Can we
Yes.
just do a clean blur for that? I'm going to get off again. Sorry,
Oh.
I just came on to say that.
You ask me and then I'll tell you.
Yeah, let's just do a clean version of this movie specifically. Hold on.
Okay.
So, Gurinder, you have made this new movie that we're dying to see, Christmas Karma. We cannot wait for it. Tell us something about it. Tell us what you want us to know. And when is it coming out? When can we get tickets?
So the movie is coming out November 14th in the States.
Yes.
I really want our community to go and see it, enjoy it. It's for you. I have a Christmas Bhangra song in there with
There's a Christmas Bhangra song.
Christmas Bhangra song.
Yes.
Lovely Malkeet Singh. He was from Bend It Like Beckham. I had Jindamai, the famous song. I said, "Chalo, aake gao mere naal," And he said, Nini, both prana, let's do something modern. So he's rewritten Jind Mai as a Christmas song.
Oh my God, I am dying. I
But
am dying.
that's brilliant in a party setting. And also Jessie Sidhu is there from Bendit. So I brought them all back. So we have a great old party scene. But also we have a special treat, a lovely big treat. I have a Christmas present for everybody is my friend Priyanka Chopra has come in and done the end song for me. You know how I like all the crazy end song stuff in my movies? She's come in and sung Last Christmas, George Michael, but the
Oh,
Hindi version.
oh my God, this is
Super
gonna be
cool.
so fun. This is gonna be wild.
And then Anushka Shankar, equally a wonderful woman, friend of mine, she's come in and she's done the backing. So we have Anushka Shankar, Priyanka Chopra, me, Nitin Soni, and my dog are all there and doing a nice little Christmas song for all of us. So, like, that's raising the bar with George Michael, but I'm sort of like super happy they gave me the rights to that. So I think for us, it's something to celebrate. This is
Yes.
a film for us to celebrate, for our children, for our parents. There's something for everybody. There is the struggle element. So it is emotional. But at the end of the day, how often do we get our own holiday movies, right?
Oh my God, I cannot wait.
November 14th, please come that weekend, enjoy.
November 14th, everybody watching and listening, you better tune in. Auntie is watching. As you know, I have X-ray vision. Get those tickets, tag us everywhere, tag Gurinder, tag the movie, tag me at Zarna Garg, and you know I track. Don't you be lying to me. Auntie eyes are tracking everywhere. I want to see you in the movie theaters. I want to see you dancing to the Bhangra. Take your kids, take your neighbors, take your friends, take your in-laws. This is a movie to take your mother-in-law. Actually, leave her there with a tub of popcorn. And you go a different time.